Hi guys, I'm Andy, and today I'm going to read to you the first book in the A to Z Mysteries series, which was actually my favorite series in elementary school. So with that said, let's dive right in. So, first book, The Absent Author by Ron Roy. Okay, so there's a little intro. A is for absent. Come on, Dink dragged his friends down the street to the book nook. They looked through the window, out of breath. The bookstore was crowded with kids. The book nook's owner, Mr. Paskey, had set up folding chairs. Dink noticed that most of them were already taken. Dink saw Mr. Paskey sitting behind a table. The big white sign on the table said, "Welcome, Wallace Wallace." But the chair behind the sign was empty. Dink gulped and stared at the empty seat. Where was Wallace Wallace? As you can see, Chapter 1. Please, Josh, Dink said. If you come with me today, I'll owe you one. Just name it, anything. Dink's full name was David Donald Duncan, but no one in Green Lawn ever called him that, except his mother, when she meant business. Josh Pinto grinned at his best friend. Anything? He raised his mischievous green eyes toward the ceiling of Dink's bedroom. Let's see. What do you have that I want? He scratched his head. I know. I'll take Loretta. Dink tossed a pillow at Josh. When I said anything, I meant anything but my guinea pig. Are you coming with me or not? I have to be at the book nook in 15 minutes. Dink rushed into the bathroom, tucking his shirt into his jeans at the same time. Josh followed him. Standing in front of the mirror, Dink yanked a brush through his thick blonde hair. Well, he asked, are you coming with me? What's so important about this writer guy? Josh asked, sitting on the edge of the bathtub. Dink turned around and pointed his hairbrush. Wallace Wallace isn't just some writer guy, Josh. He's the most famous mystery writer in the world. All the kids read his books, except for you. If he's so famous, why is he coming to dinky little Green Lawn? Dink charged back into his bedroom. I told you, he's coming because I invited him. I'm scared to death to meet someone so famous. I don't even know what you're supposed to say to an author. Dink dived under his bed and backed out again with his sneakers. Please come with me? Josh leaned in the bedroom doorway. Sure, I'll come, you dope. I'm just trying to make you sweat. Usually you're so calm. Dink stared at his friend. You will? Thanks. I can't believe Wallace Wallace is really coming. When I wrote and asked him, I never thought he'd say yes. Dink yanked his backpack out of his closet. Pack my books, okay? I'm getting Wallace Wallace to sign them all. Josh began pulling Wallace Wallace books off Dink's bookshelf. Geez, how many do you have? Every one he's written. Dink sat on the floor to tie his sneakers. 23 so far. You should read some of them, Josh. Josh picked out The Poisoned Pond and read the book cover. Hey, cool. It says here that Wallace Wallace lives in the castle in Maine. Wouldn't that be neat? Dink grinned. When I'm a famous writer, you can live in my castle, Josh. No way. When I'm a famous artist, you can live in my castle. Down in the basement. Josh picked up the riddle in the river. What's this guy look like? He asked. And how come his picture isn't on any of these books? I wondered about that too, Dink said. I sent him one of my school pictures and asked for one of him. But when I got his letter, there was no picture. He finished tying his laces. Maybe Wallace Wallace just doesn't like having his picture taken. Josh squeezed all 23 books into Dink's pack. He grinned at Dink. Or maybe he's just too ugly. Dink laughed. Gee, Josh, you're ugly and you love having your picture taken. Ha ha. Josh picked up his drawing pad. But just because you're my best friend, I'll draw the picture at the bookstore. Dink looked at his watch. Yikes, he said. We have to pick up Ruth Rose. In 1 minute. He tore into the bathroom and started brushing his teeth. How'd you get her to come? Josh called. Dink rushed back into his room, wiping toothpaste from his mouth. You kidding? Ruth Rose loves Wallace Wallace's books. Dink slung his backpack over his shoulder. He and Josh hurried next door to 24 Woody Street. Tiger, Ruth Rose's orange cat, was sitting in the sun on the steps. Dink pressed the doorbell. Ruth Rose showed up at the door. As usual, she was dressed all in one color. Today it was purple. She wore purple coveralls over a purple shirt and had on a purple running shoes. A purple baseball cap kept her black curls out of her face. "Hey," she said. Then she turned around and screamed into the house. "The guys are here, Mom! I'm leaving!" Dink and Josh covered their ears. "Geez, Ruth Rose," Josh said. "I don't know what's louder, your outfit or your voice." Ruth Rose smiled sweetly at Josh. "I can't wait until Wallace Wallace signs my book," she said. She held up a copy of The Phantom in the Pharmacy. "I wonder if Wallace Wallace will read from the new book he's working on," Dink said. "What's the title?" Ruth Rose asked. They headed toward the book nook. "I don't know," said Dink, "but he wrote in his letter that he's doing some of the research while he's here in Connecticut." Dink pulled the letter out of his pocket. He read it out loud while he walked. "Dear Mr. Duncan, thank you for your kind letter. I'm so impressed that you've read all my books. I have good news. I've made arrangements to come to the book nook to sign books. I can use part of my time for research. Thanks for your picture. I'm so happy to finally meet one of my most loyal fans. Short of being kidnapped, nothing will stop me from coming. See you soon, Wallace Wallace." The letter was signed Wallace Wallace in loopy letters. Dink grinned. "Pretty neat, huh?" "Pretty neat, Mr. Duncan," teased Josh. "You should have that letter framed," Ruth Rose said. "Great idea," Dink said. They passed Howard's barbershop. Howard waved through his window as they hurried by. "Come on," Dink urged as he dragged his friends down the street to the book nook. He looked through the window, out of breath. The bookstore was crowded with kids. The book nook's owner, Mr. Paskey, had set up folding chairs. Dink noticed that most of them were already taken. Dink saw Mr. Paskey sitting behind a table. A big white sign on the table said, "Welcome, Wallace Wallace." But the chair behind the sign was empty. Dink gulped and stared at the empty seat. Where was Wallace Wallace? Right. So, with that, I think that will conclude the first chapter of The Absent Author and this video. So, thank you guys for listening, and be sure to be on the lookout for the next video where I will be reading chapter 2. Thanks guys, and bye.